What are we gonna do tonight, O.C.G?
Well, the same thing we try to do every night, Bertrum. Take over YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. I am the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, and this is my review for Call of the Sea. So, dear viewer, if you wouldn't mind, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Call of the Sea, originally released in 2020. A year I remember fondly as the year I got into a fist fight with that chap called COVID-19. But we're not here to talk about who I do not get into a fist fight with, particularly when I lose said fist fight. No, we are here to discuss Call of the Sea. And what is Call of the Sea, you might be asking? Well, I'm so glad you asked, dear viewer. Call of the Sea is an action-adventure puzzly type game set on a mysterious island. Now we play as a woman who has come to said mysterious island to track down her husband who has run off with a budgie. I jest. He hasn't run off with a budgie. You can't possibly run off with a budgie. No, you would fly off with a budgie. Fly off with a budgie. Anyway, apparently the husband came to this island, assembled a team of people to try and find a cure for his wife's incurable illness. Maybe someone should have sent him the memo that said that his wife's disease was uncurable, but never mind, he came to the island to try and cure her disease. Anyway, so the wife of said man who flew off with a budgie and came to find a cure for his wife's incurable disease, idiot that he is, the wife turns up on the island, and we'll have to explore the island and try and find out what happened to her husband and to his team of people. And this may or may not lead to some rather dramatic reveals about the wife's true identity, what the causes of her incurable disease are, and it might just so happen to link back to an old Lovecraftian kind of god called Cthulhu. At least I think it's Cthulhu. I don't think his name is ever used in the game, but I'm absolutely certain that the big massive chap with the flappy tentacle things that we see throughout the game, I'm absolutely convinced it is Cthulhu. Or someone who's clearly not been sticking to their diet plan. One or the other. So, gameplay. Now, like I said, playing as the wife of the missing husband, and you might be wondering, O.C.G, why do you keep referring to her as the wife of the missing husband? Well, because I can't remember her bloody name, that's why. Now stop asking stupid questions and just watch the rest of the review. Gameplay. Like I've already said, we explore the island and participate mostly in exploration and in puzzle solving. How much puzzle solving, you might be asking? Quite a bloody lot. In my roughly 4-hour playthrough of this game, I must have solved, I don't know, hundreds of puzzles. No, that's maybe an exaggeration. Thousands of puzzles. No, that's even more of an exaggeration. Millions of puzzles. Basically, I solved a lot of puzzles. And I'm not what you might call a puzzle aficionado. Emphasis on the fish. Get it? Fish. Cthulhu. Island. Water. Aficionado. Fish. Never mind. But I mostly enjoyed this game. mostly because I was using a guide. But still, if you're not using a guide and you're much more intelligent than I am, or have more patience to solve these puzzles, then I'm very sure you'll find them most rewarding to solve. Whereas I found it rewarding to look at a walkthrough and see the solution laid out for me. Yes. No, where most of my enjoyment of this game came from was in the story, in the exploration, in finding out what happened to the husband, in looking at that big, massive, fishy-looking fucker and wondering, is that indeed Cthulhu? Or is that just a really big, fat, overweight person that's wandered into this video game from the local McDonald's when they were actually looking for the nearest toilet? In conclusion, this game presents a great little mystery. Visually, it's very striking. It's set in the 1930s, which is a different time period than it is now. Oh, and the voice acting. Splendid. Great voice acting here. So overall, I enjoyed this game, but if you don't like puzzles in your game, you're not going to like this. Therefore, I declare the Call of the Sea is very good. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My totally not improvised review for Call of the Sea. If you enjoyed this little review of mine, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it, well then feel free to give me a thumbs down. But please remember the single most important thing I always tell you, dear viewer, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. Are you still here? Oh, you must have really enjoyed this video then. In that case, you had better subscribe to the channel and check out our other content. Otherwise, you're a booby pants, and no one wants to be a booby pants.